the Bookstore Ride for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. She is the founder of the Badass Queen movement, entrepreneur, author, and reinvention queen. And of course, the author of the book, Unapologetically Badass. No other than Miss Renee Carbone Fleming.
Hello, hello. Thank you so much.
Welcome, Miss Renee, on Book 101 Review. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I miss?
Yes, actually, I am a branding strategist. I'm an empowerment coach. I help women over 40 reinvent themselves and build their effort fund. I want women to feel confident in who they are and bring the skills that they have into a new business opportunity because I do strongly believe that every person needs multiple streams of income, and we can do that with the power of personal branding.
I want that, Miss Renee. Multiple passive income. And thank you so much for empowering women all over the world. We salute your advocacy here on Book 101 Review. We support you 100%. So let's talk about your book. The title, Unapologetically Badass, is powerful declaration for women who might feel hesitant to claim that energy for themselves. What does being a badass queen truly look and feel like in everyday life?
That's a great question. And it's a feeling that you have when you step into the person that you are meant to be. You have this feeling of being unapologetic. And I always want women to feel that they have that inner badass queen. We need to unleash that inner badass queen because we all have it. And this is men and women, we all have that inner badass. But as we go through life happens, and there's a lot of things that could tear us down, that could break us. There are maybe people in our lives that don't believe in what we want to do, especially as entrepreneurs. And there's this, I've gone through a lot, and a lot of people have, and that's why I wrote this book. Not because people were clamoring for my story, but I know that stories save us, and I know that sharing the ick that we go through in our lives connects us with others when we share that authentically. So this is not a big memoir, but this shows the horrible things that I've went through in my life, but more importantly, what did I learn from it? How did I grow from it? And how did I use that to help other women? And that's why I wrote the book. So yes, unapologetically badass, F the rules, wear the crown, because I want women to see themselves perhaps in part of my journey, whether it's the bankruptcy, it's my father's suicide, it's divorce, it's child estrangement. There's been so much, and I could have just pulled the covers over my head and said, that's it, I'm tapping out, I'm not going to show up. But I knew that there was something inside of me that felt like I needed to share it with others, to maybe help that one woman who reads my story and resonates and then grows from it herself.
Your book describes as a raw, real, and radically honest memoir meets manifesto. Why was blending your deeply personal story with a call to action so important to your message?
I didn't want this to be just look at me and my story and what I went through. Again, I wanted women to be able to connect with me, perhaps see themselves in what I went through, but me sharing what I learned from them so that they can sit there at the end of each chapter and reflect what possible thread of my story enters their lives and what do they learn and grow from it.
Mr. Renee, you talk about rebuilding after profound challenges, including the pain of estrangement. What was the single most important mindset shift you had to make to move from place of survival to building a multi-million dollar brand?
It's not a singular moment, but it is helping. I know that if I help somebody else, that helps me. So that's how I can deal with my situation. I think that life has we have to make choices. I can choose to stay in that sad space because it's sad, it's heartbreaking. I cry often. It's not something you ever get over, but I choose to be happy. I choose to be grateful for everything that I have. And that's what we talk about mindset. Every morning I wake up with gratitude. And so I have this miracle morning ritual that I do, and it does start with gratitude. And when you fill your cup up with these gratitude moments, it overpowers the negativity or the sadness that I have in my life. So, me appreciating the abundance, me sharing my journey authentically, and me helping other women, all of that helps me. So, it's a combination of everything.
Yes, people, be grateful in everything you have. Stop
Mhm.
complaining. Count your blessing. You
Count your
talk about,
blessings. Right.
yes, definitely. So let's talk about the specific rules. Your book explicitly says F, the rules. What is the most common unspoken rule you see successful women still apologetically following? And what is the first step to unlearning it?
Yes. So, one of the rules, sort of rules, is something that we probably put on ourselves, is the expectations that others have of us. So whether we see somebody else tells us what their expectations are,
Mm.
or that's what we perceive other people's expectations are. And when we toss that aside and say, basically, I don't care what somebody else thinks of me. I don't. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. And that's okay. I like coffee. So when you shed that expectation, you kinda say that, "F the rules, because I'm gonna build my own lane and I'm gonna do it my way." Good old Frank Sinatra taught us that, right? So
Yes.
when you unleash the expectation that other people have of you, or you think other people have of you, and you go, you know what, I'm going to do this. I'm passionate about XYZ. I know I have a gift to share. And when you kind of do that, it's no holds barred. It just feels so good to just unleash that and live your true authentic life.
Mm. Through authentic life. That's what we like it. You
Mhm.
encourage readers to own your story. Which part of your own story was the most difficult to fully own and share it in the book? And what gave you the strength to do it?
Uh, I would say the estrangement. That was the toughest part. I've been divorced for over a decade now, so the sadness. Do I wish that I got divorced? No. I mean, nobody ever goes into a marriage saying, I look forward to ending this. The collateral damage of, our daughters, children that go through divorce, it's really a terrible thing. So I wish that never happened, but the worst thing that has happened in my life is being estranged from my youngest daughter. It's just heartbreaking, and any parent can relate um, to that. So I don't share, everything
Mhm.
that happened. I'm still trying to figure that out. There was no like, people have to be estranged for certain reasons, and I get that, especially if there's, big issues like drugs and alcohol, like a lot of things, abuse, but it wasn't that. So when it's not that, it leaves you scrambling, and quite honestly, it messes with your head. And there's such a stigma, again, expectations, but there's a stigma like, I must be a bad mom. I must be a bad person for that to happen to me, for her to make the decision to walk away from a relationship with her own mother. So there's a lot of, you know, self torture, so to speak, that I put on myself. So that was the toughest thing. But when I said, you know what, I shared it with a couple of people, and then when I shared it more authentically, women started messaging me saying, "Me too. Oh my gosh, me too. Oh my gosh, my sister just went through this." And it was a flood of people that have come into my inbox that thanked me for sharing. So I knew with those conversations that that had to be part of this book, because I preach and I teach and I coach and I train on being authentic. If I didn't share that part of my world, then I wouldn't be authentic. And that's just not who I am. So
Mhm. Authentic indeed. A key message is you don't need permission. Where do you see women most frequently and perhaps unconsciously waiting for permission to their lives and careers today?
it's fear. It's fear of success, it's fear of failure, it's fear of what other people think. That's what holds people back, men and women. So when I ask them, what is the worst thing that will happen if you do XYZ? And we talk about this as business and building your brand and building a business, building a side hustle. What is the worst thing that's going to happen? And they go, I fail or I lose money in lose the investment. Okay, you're still you. Mm, What happens if you are successful? What is that going to feel like? What happens when that paycheck starts rising? What is that going to feel like? And I bring them back to the place of that feel, because fear really does truly hold everyone back. But when you switch that and go, what does that look like when it's not fear? So when it is success, when you are achieving whatever goals that you have. And once they recognize that there is an opportunity to release the fear and release the expectations, that's when, they really do flourish.
Hmm. Miss Renee, your book includes bold reflections, the action steps. Can you walk us through one simple but powerful exercise from the book that helps a woman identify what her unique, unapologetic crown represents?
It's determining what they want to be known for. And so that's with any business, right? So what do they want to be known for when people think of them? And I would often tell people to put out there and ask their audience, their friends, describe me in 3 words. Like, what 3 things come to mind when you think of me? And oftentimes that is your brand. That's what you're known for. That's who you are. So you can use that to then expand and create that personal brand persona.
Personal brand, we like that. A personal brand to everyone. So, Miss Renee, the badass queen energy is a key concept. How can a woman cultivate its energy on her toughest days when she feels anything but regal?
Well, it's practice, it's consistency. There are
Mm,
times, like I said, that we're all human. I don't feel like this all the time.
true.
But when I am consistently showing up, it's kind of like, I can't say the fake it till you make it, but it is. When you consistently show up as that happy, positive person, you become that happy, positive person.
True.
So again, it all comes down to mindset, right? And I always go back to that miracle morning. I start my day having these moments where it fills my heart, it fills my cup. So we start with gratitude, but I have to share part of my miracle morning, and this has been such a game changer in my life, is I recorded my future self life script. And what I
Yes.
mean by that is I wrote down kind of like my goals and where I see myself in a year. Some people do it 6 months, some people do it a year. And everything, so it's not just, I earn XYZ money. It's what does that do for me and how do I live my life? So how many, like, vacations do I go on? How much money am I earning? How is that helping my family? How is it making me feel? All of those things. And then I recorded myself on my voice memo as if I've already achieved it. So I'm like, this is how I get to start my day. And I get to do these things. And I am earning this. And I am meeting XYZ. And I have this many clients. And this is how I get to travel. And this is where I'm going. So I am hearing this. I play this every morning when I'm in bed after I do my gratitude and my prayers and everything else that I'm doing. But I listen to this every single morning. So on those dark days where I don't want to get out of bed and I just want to be in my own skin and wallow, I hear this and I jump up out of bed and I'm like, oh my gosh, I am a badass. I'm like, wow, this is incredible. So
Mhm.
as you listen to this, your brain, even though a lot of us don't like to hear our voices, but this is all connected. And when we hear this, our brain starts to believe it. So when you're sharing this positive future life, it just it feels so good and it makes you go into action and you don't sit there in that sadness.
Mhm. Yes, definitely. Interesting, interesting indeed. So, what is your or what are your short-term and long-term goals as an author, as an entrepreneur?
So I actually have a another book that's going to be launching in February, which I'm really excited about. Being an author wasn't something that was on my bingo card. Again,
Mhm.
I love my passion is helping women grow their multiple streams of income, right? I call it something else, but we're not going to swear on here. But build their multiple streams of income. And how I do that is through trainings and coaching. So I have courses, I've got digital downloads, I've got coaching and all of that. But me writing this book felt so good that I wrote another book that's already out and it's Build Your Effort Fund Like a Badass Queen. And it's 3 steps to take control of your wealth, your brand, and your life. And that's also available on Amazon. And part of my journey, so it's a short book and it's like basically 3 steps so that you can do this. Super simple, but really impactful and powerful. And part of my journey when I got divorced, a lot of people didn't think I could succeed. And I wrote on Post-it notes and put it all over my office. I put it in my car, I put it on the steering wheel, I put it on my refrigerator, put it everywhere, and I wrote 2 words, and it was watch me. You don't think I can? Watch me. So that stubbornness, that persistence, and I don't know if it's being stubborn, I don't know if it's my Italian, Portuguese heritage, whatever it is, but I definitely have that, "You don't think I can?" Like, "Yes, I can. I can do this without you, and I could do it with you, but I don't need you." Like, that's kind of my vibe, right? So I wrote
Mhm.
those words, "Watch me." So this next book is basically a business blueprint using my watch me method. And watch me is the W. So it's the W means withdraw from explanation. The A is act before approval. The T is take up space publicly. C is commit without consensus. And the H is hold the vision when no one else does. So that is Watch Me. So that's next, and I'm really excited about that. And, my long term is to build all of these things along with my trademarks. I've been trademarking Badass Queen and Sparkle Queen. And my goal, my long term, is to license the heck out of it so that I
Mhm.
am selling the business for 20 million and I could be the grandma to my grandkids. So that's my long-term
Yes.
goal. Mhm.
Good luck to your goals, Miss Renee, and looking forward for more success.
Thank
Watch me. I
Watch
like
me.
that.
Mhm.
I like that, Miss Renee. So, what will be your piece of advice for those people out there who want to watch me?
Is honestly, it's like it sounds so cliche, but just do it. Like, first of all, if anyone has those blocks and not sure what they want to do or when they want to do it, message me, DM me. I'm an open book. I'm happy to have a clarity call to help people get on their entrepreneurial journey. But it really comes down to take that first step. And when you take that first step, then you take the next step. Then you take the next step. And you once you keep going, you're going to be unstoppable.
Mm, yes, definitely unstoppable, like Miss Renee. And thank you for that advice. And can you please recommend a book or books that influence your journey?
I share this with everyone because it is so true. This here, 3 Feet from Gold. I'm sure
Yes.
your audience is familiar with this, but Napoleon Hill, it's from the Napoleon Hill Foundation, the Think and Grow Rich. This 3 Feet from Gold is so smart because when we think about giving up and quitting, right? I mean,
Yes.
especially as entrepreneurs, podcast hosts, like we're like, is anyone listening? Right? We're like,
Yes.
McFly, we're still here, right? And
Anybody there?
is anyone there? So that happens to us a lot. And this book shares you just might be 3 feet from gold. If you gave up now, so there's so many people that's in here, and I won't spoil it. I want everyone to go and grab the book. But there's so many stories of being so close to success, but somebody gave up.
Hmm.
And if the person that gets to that level of success is because they were 3 feet from gold and they didn't give up. So that it's such an impactful story, especially for entrepreneurs. That I recommend that highly.
Thank you for that recommended book, Miss Renee. And tell us, you describe your work as a mission to help every woman rise. What does that rising look like on a community, collective level beyond individual success?
We we always say rising tide lifts all boats,
Mm-hmm.
and nothing feels more important than helping or seeing somebody else's success. And the community feel when you have people cheering for you in your corner, especially for those of us that may not have a support system that really sees our vision. That's why I think community is so important. That's why I have my Badass Queen community, because we are a community of women that truly want to help somebody else grow and succeed in their lane, and it's non-competition, so it's so foreign for a lot of women because they don't have the support system. So that's what I'd like to do, is give that to them, and show them that you don't need to be competitive. There's room at the top for everyone, and we're all open books and willing to help each other. So that's super important to me.
Truly important, Ms. Renee. Before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people, because my abstract essay is already in sixth season, abstract poetry in third season, and of course my book 101 review in sixth season as well, comedy 101 third season, and my food 101 in sixth season too, geography 101 love letters, movie 101 review, music 101 our fifth season, Science 101, Sex 101, fourth season, and Trivia 101, Law 101, Mental Health 101, Motivation 101, Entrepreneurship 101, and of course, Bible Verses 101 are my baby podcasts. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcasts. So, Miss Renee, if you could go back and give one piece of advice to a younger version of yourself at the start of her hardest times, what would it be?
It would be not to take yourself too seriously. It's okay if you fail. It's
Yes.
you're going to continue to grow and learn. That would be my advice.
What's empowering advice, Ms. Renee? So, can you please invite our listeners to support your book, your advocacy, or whatever projects that you're doing right now?
Yes, please follow me on Instagram or any of your social media channels at Renee Carbone Fleming. And you can also go to my website and take a look at badassqueen.co.
Yes, people, let's support Miss Renee Carbone Fleming, because if you support her, for sure, more and more empowering badass queens will rise. I have one more question, Miss Renee. This book feels like a pivotal marker in your journey. Having claimed your crown and written this manifesto, what does being unapologetically badass look like for you in the next chapter?
In the next chapter would be helping other women build their own crown. That makes me super excited.
And looking forward for more crowns to come. Ms. Renee, let's empower women all over the world through your advocacy. Again, here on Book 101 Review, we support you 100%. So, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me. My pleasure. I really appreciate the support.
More to come, people. See you soon.